Steve Balbi, welcome to noise11.com. And we're talking solo, Steve Balbi, this time.
That's it. Nice to be here, mate. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for the invite.
Well, you know, the number of times we get to talk to you, it's either about Noiseworks or it's Mi-Sex or, geez, I think I might have been doing 30 years ago, Electric Hippies interviews.
Yeah.
We've probably pretty much covered the entire Steve Balbi resume.
There's more.
But wait, yes. Let's keep it current to start with. We'll talk about the Breakdown album, which I think is a magnificent piece of work. And 10 tracks, 39 minutes, and two distinct sides, side 1 and 2. You get a different flavour when you flip the record across.
I just write songs. I just, wake up, I hear something, I write it, I record it, and then I get a batch of songs that I think, work together. And that can still allow, song to song to travel a bit. I try not to restrict myself in any way. I make a record that I think that I like, and I put it together the best I can, and I put it out.
Well, this record was accompanied by a showcase event at the Sydney Opera House. Thank you very much. Picking a tacky old venue like that.
Not a bad old
more
dog
upmarket than the Sydney Opera House, Steve.
Yeah.
But that gave you a chance to perform some of these songs live, and I would imagine probably in some cases for the first time. I think Avalanche, Extraordinary, Ordinary Life, and Dragonfly were 3 of the tracks that were played at the show that night. Why did they become the focal point of a live event?
Yeah, look, when you put a new record out, it's hard to play it all. Given I had 90 minutes to get a set in, and my loyal fans, want to hear some other songs as well. So I think those ones translated better. There's one track on there that's quite orchestral, and I didn't want to go out with sample orchestras. So that gave that one a miss, and the other ones were quite slow. So I just picked a variety of songs I thought would translate with the ensemble that I had, and we could deliver it sort of authentically and, with a bit of gusto.
There's lots of different styles on the record. When we get to track 1, Avalanche, it's got a real nice R&B soul feel to it right at the start, but it's not indicative of what we're going to come across for the rest of this record, is it?
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not, I think gone are the days where, I remember with Noiseworks, going to New York City and meeting the big head of Sony. And he said, hey, what are you guys? We had an acoustic track on the record. And, there was at times, I guess, during rock and roll history, you had to be a certain thing. I just don't play that game. I don't play the game. I've got a very broad taste of music, and I have a very set of skills where I can travel from programming music through to playing bass, through to playing a bit of drums, to playing this. And I love from Beatles to The Smile, so I just want to, experiment with myself and try to be as different as I can for my own entertainment, really.
Well, when you talk about Beatles, when you talk about Beach Boys' Smile, you're talking about production. I don't want to call they're not production tricks, but they're innovative production techniques. With the word I was thinking of, and that comes across on the track Marrow.
There's not really a trick to that so much, as apart from the style I wrote it in. I had this progression and a melody, and you often need a start point, like, it's either held down with acoustic or, a rhythm or a sound, piano chords or something like that. But I thought I chose strings. So instead of going jing, 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 I went da, 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 da. It is kind of Beatlesque, a little, at a certain point, maybe a bit more Supertramp even, So I started the songs with strings. And I made an orchestral arrangement of the whole song, and I added instruments. The next thing I added, I think, was drums and then bass. So, then it goes, so it goes from Avalanche, which is quite programmed with a little bass riff, to Atmosphere, to sort of, shoots back to an orchestral sort of thing. But it kind of all works, I think, I think that's what my thing is. It's a melting pot of influences and experiments, really.
How much of the instruments that we hear on this record are you playing those instruments?
Yeah, I play all of it apart from the drums on this one. On the previous record, I played drums because it was during COVID and I couldn't get a drummer in the studio, which gave me an excuse to play drums on a record, which I've always wanted to do. And it had its challenges, because I only had a couple of mics and a couple of mic pre's. My studio I was in between studios, and I made this record on my son's drum kit in the bedroom, and had to do some pretty interesting miking techniques to sort of get a full drum kit going on 2 mics, but it worked out really well. So, yeah, on this record, I generally play everything, not because it gets expensive, making records, and I don't know, I really love playing all the instruments. I just love doing it. I know guys can do it better than me, but I'm only on this planet for about this long. So I want to do it myself,
While you're not recruiting other musicians for the record, you are recruiting a few other vocalists for the record. On the title track, Breakdown, Miranda Carey and Dylan Frost.
The song is about Dylan Frost, controversial figure, totally misunderstood human being. He's made a lot of mistakes, my dear friend Dylan. But, as Ned Kelly said, you can't judge a man till you walked in his shoes. And unfortunately, there's a lot of our peers and a lot of media that judge this guy, not condoning his fuck-ups. He messes up big time. But, there's real mental health and there's, addiction problems that I know a lot about, an upbringing that, was really, really quite tough. I'm not making excuses. I think we need to have a little bit of empathy. You get bands, that Sticky Fingers were booked on Blues Fest, and then you've got our peers, cancelling. Well, rather than cancel as if they've never done anything wrong in their whole lives, be different if they had never made any mistakes as people. But, why not write Dylan a message of love, a little bit of encouragement and, instead of cancelling. But anyway, that's my personal gripe with artists that cancel on each other and, this politically correct world that's just like ridiculous, as if no one's ever made a mistake. But the song was written about Dylan. I've been trying to help him get clean. I know a lot about addiction. I've survived it. It's my territory. I'm an expert, and I know how hard it is. And, I've been friends with Dylan for a long time, and he OD'd. He ODs quite a lot. And this particular instance, he'd OD'd again, and I wrote a song. And it was an amazing thing because I wrote this song, Breakdown, and he came to my house for dinner, and I played him the song, and it really moved him. And we were sitting out in the balcony, and I said, look, man, I got a middle eight here. Would you like to answer the lyric? And he said yes. And I set up a mic in the studio, and he sort of stood there in this sort of bewildered sort of silence. And for the first time, he didn't sing anything. Just didn't sing. And I hit record a couple of times, and I just hit it one more time, and he sort of sat down on a chair near the mic and sang this thing. And I could tell, I just said to him, look, let's leave it. We don't have to do this now. We don't have to do it. Let's just leave it. So he went out. A couple of days later, I pulled the track up and I listened to what he did. And what you hear on the record was his one pass, one shot. He's the crusty genius. The guy is incredible. He's got such an incredible musical light that, of course, this darkness follows, And so that's on the record, and I feel very privileged to have that on the record. I'm not talking about Dylan to exploit him. I'm talking about Dylan for people to understand him. He is priceless, and unfortunately, he walks a very fine line of life and death. So that's the Dylan part. Miranda Kerry, it's very you need to be very choosy when you pick voices for recordings, and she's got an amazing ability to morph, and I knew that she would morph on top of my voice beautifully. I knew her tone. She's a far better singer than what she sings on that song, but she got it, and she did a beautiful job of it. And we performed it live the other night, and it was probably one of the highlights of the show for me. It was really beautiful. So I think it is a special song, So those that get to hear it, let me know what you think.
And special enough that you made it the title track of the album.
Yeah, well, Marrow. No, it's not. Oh, that we're talking about Breakdown, right? Yes, I did. Yes, Breakdown. Yeah, I think overall, when you name something, I wanted to give it a current feel, and my feeling in this landscape that we live in is one of, I feel that there's a big disconnect in life. And so I guess overall Breakdown expresses that. There's no lyrical theme to it, really. It's just, I had to name it something, and I thought Breakdown is what I'm feeling on a daily basis.
Liv Lee on Every Living Thing. That's the other guest.
Yeah. Record. What another just absolutely special voice. Liv Lee, I mean, I came across her many years. She actually went on The Voice at one point. She was the pregnant one. And, I think some people go on The Voice out of desperation. It may have been a little bit of that. But the moment I heard her voice, I was captivated. I was spellbound. And she's sung in a few of my songs over the years. That when I need that special tone, she's often the one I go to.
There hasn't been a lot of Steve Balbi solo albums over the decades that you've been around since that first Noiseworks album. I think I know for sure, 2020. And then you had the Black Rainbow and the Rainbow Black in 2015, 2016. So what inspires you to actually do the solo record, considering there are so few of them?
There's no inspiration, really. It's just what I was born to do. I just write songs. If you play a bass drum, to a songwriter, Paul McCartney said this, boom, boom, boom. I instantly start hearing melodies and rhythms and something. You play it where others will hear a bass drum. It's just what we I listen to the rhythm of my life, and I write songs about it. So what am I going to do? I just can't collect them. I've got to put them out and give them to people. I think the gift of music that we have as artists. I think our duty is to give the gift to people, and that's what we do. So we put them on little, once again we're putting them on vinyl. And we're not giving them, we are selling them, but I think it's a small price to pay for the dues that we've paid to have the skills and it's hard work making a record. It's not hard. You need to work. You need to put the time in. There's lots of hours go into making a record.
Let's talk about a Noiseworks song, Touch. Is a song that you've recorded 3 times now over the career. Once with the original Noiseworks, again with Noiseworks on the Evolution album, and you've also done a solo version of it. Now, the Evolution one, the solo one, are like torch ballads. It's an interesting reinvention of that particular song. Why that song?
There's 2 reasons. the real reason, the deepest reason is, when Noiseworks broke up, we were young, we had big egos, and we hurt each other. And, there was a lot of resentment over a bunch of years. And then we grew up, or I grew up. I accepted my part in the whole rubbish, and I needed to make amends. And, I paraded around pretending I wasn't in Noiseworks, that it was shit, that this was, and really, Noiseworks was a wonderful time in my life, with really good people, really talented people. And I wanted to, I guess, take ownership of it, of the period, and I wanted to love it. And I wanted to express that by recording a song that I felt like I could actually sing and I could actually do authentically. It was a song that I was heavily involved in the writing process of that. So I felt that was the obvious one. And I think really that's one of the best songs we'd written. I think it's a timeless sort of lyric. And it was really cathartic re-recording that song, and making that my version of it. It's kind of a love song, really. It was a make-up song spiritually to myself and the horrible sort of resentment that I'd put out there over the years. So it's really great. And, so Noiseworks can now get back together and tour, and there's a really good feeling about it, I think we all got to own our stuff. If you don't own your shit, eventually it's going to fall on you somewhere, So, since I got clean, I've been trying to, make a nice straight path, and I guess that was part of it. The other part of it is it did service the fact that I'd go and do a show, and every time you'd have someone say, do a Noiseworks song. And, I can't sing like John, he's got the most incredible rock voice. Mine does something else. And so re-recording Touch has actually allowed me to now play a Noiseworks song and feel like it's mine authentically.
Well, people can yell for more Noiseworks songs when they get to see Noiseworks in this coming summer.
That's right. Yeah. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, as it was last time we got to see you. Last time we spoke, we talked a bit about Electric Hippies, and you alluded to the fact that there could be new music from Electric Hippies. We haven't seen anything. So what's going on?
No. Well, in the hippie style, we're sort of just cruising. We do have a record recorded. It's absolutely recorded. Apart from some vocals, Justin needs to go and do some of his vocals. But a couple of trips to LA, couple of guitars in a studio, and we do have a record. I've got a few mixes that have been sent. It's pretty good. But I'm trying not to get too excited about it because it might take a bit of time for Stano to finish his stuff. But, that's the wonderful thing about the Hippies collaboration. We don't discuss it. We don't discuss anything. We don't discuss, should it, mate, do you reckon you could play that instead? Or what do you reckon? We don't, we just let each other do what we do. I went over there. We spent hours and hours making this record. I'd finish my stuff. Justin has to do his little bit of vocals, and he'll do that when he's ready. And when he does do that, the time will be right. So it will come. It is coming.
Maybe not 2024, but hopefully 2025.
Oh, gosh, I really hope so. I just said, look, man, as long as it comes out before we're in walking frames.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at the time that we're doing this interview, it is the 28th of August, 2024. We'll skip across September 2024. Let's go to October 2024. That's when the 30th anniversary of the Electric Hippies album will be happening. You're like literally weeks away from the 30th anniversary of the Electric Hippies album.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. Maybe I should tell Justin. Maybe he could get his stuff done. I mean, there's a couple of tracks finished. So
yeah, one new song for the 30th anniversary, I think.
Yeah, well, the one that's finished, it's really beautiful, is a thing called Love House. And it's very interesting because, you know, at the end of our first record, I'd written this song, or most of it, Love House. And we'd sort of finished the record and we thought, oh, we'll leave it. We'll do it on the next one. And then, you know, I was in LA. We'd scheduled, you know, to finish the record, and we did. We'd recorded 10 songs, but we had 4 days up our sleeve. So each of those days we wrote and recorded a new song. And the last song we recorded the day before I came home was Love House. Which didn't make the first record, but it's the first song finished. So it's kind of a continuation. Long time between drinks, but gee, it's really beautiful. And so look, maybe we can. It's probably too quick to sort of just rush it out, you know, because everyone releases on, you know, 50 years, 40 years, 30 years. I reckon 31 years is kind of cool.
Well, 33 and a third.
31 year.
31 year.
Yeah, well, maybe that might be more realistic. Who knows?
The last time I saw you live was only a few weeks ago with Mi-Sex. I love those Mi-Sex shows with you out front.
So do I.
What a power pack set list. Every single song, bang, 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 all hits. You must love it.
But why don't you go and tell the Red Hot Summer guys and Dan the Green guys that, because we can't crack an entry on that bill. It's true though. Mi-Sex had top 40 hits. You know, the whole heritage thing. It's interesting. You know, I think we need to look at it like a relay race. You know, Mi-Sex, Murray's the only one left from the original band. You know, a couple have passed away, and you know, but the songs are bigger than the sum of its parts. You know, the lineup we have interprets these songs in a kind of a new wave punk, a cyber punk sort of way. It's really energetic. It's really fantastic fun, and we don't take any prisoners, man. You know, the shows just blister. So, and I really love it. And I don't know, you probably gathered, Paul, I don't do anything that I don't feel 100% authentic in. And for me to sing a whole set, well, there's a couple of newer songs that I've co-written with Murray, but to do a whole set of other people's material, I just feel like it's mine. I think I feel so right doing that job. You know, I love it. It's kind of like a bit of an acting job for me, and I'm a frustrated actor, and I just get so much satisfaction. I truly love Mi-Sex.
I was surprised to see Ian Perez from Wolfmother up there on stage with you that night.
Yeah, man, he's amazing. You know, look, Mi-Sex is basically now me, Murray, and the drummer, Jordan McDonald, and you know, whoever else we can get to play with us is always quality musos, you know. But the songs are bigger than the individuals. No one ever comes off going, oh, where was, you know, Dario, or, you know, where was Jack? Or it's just the songs do the business. It's quite wonderful like that, you know. None of those guys are any better than each other. They just do a different version of it, but the songs are bigger than all of us.
Yeah. So Ian's not an ongoing member of Mi-Sex?
Yeah. He'll be there again. You know, we've got, you know, those, when you're using the best musos around, they're often not available all the time. So, you know, Murray and I and Jordan have the decision to make, well, do we wait? No, let's not wait. Let's go and play. Who's available? Ian's available for this one. Jack's available for that one. Luke's available for that one. Book them in. Go and do the run.
Will there be Mi-Sex recorded music?
We do have a batch of stuff recorded, yeah. We're just sort of waiting for, you know, I guess just a tap on the shoulder from the whatever it is that gives you the impetus to actually put the energy in and get it out. Yeah, there's some really wonderful new songs, yeah.
Well, you know, we've covered a lot You've got a lot of history. You've got a lot of different chapters, Steve Balbi. So thanks for filling us in on Mi-Sex, on Noiseworks, on the solo record, Electric Hippies. Anyone else?
I'm doing a new record
right
now. You know, I'm halfway through. I'm halfway through my next record. So,
are you really?
Yeah, I muck around, man.
No, good to see. Good to see it. Probably out of that very studio you're in now.
Well, I'm actually moving house. I've bought a new house and I'm moving. So it's actually all being packed down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, look, it's quite emotional, really. I've made some wonderful music in this studio, but the next one's going to be pretty beautiful. So yeah, kind of keen.
Thank you, Steve Balbi.
Always a pleasure to talk to you, Paul. Thanks for having me, man. And it's good to be alive.